Their spirits were sunken and low. Their bags weighed more than a ton. There was neither sign nor show when the bull began his run. Their shields were shilling wall to wall. The gig was up, they had their fun, and every short got a margin call when the bull began his run. The candle's green came fast and tall. Each wick was bold, quick to stun. His eyes burned red and his horns did more when the bull began his run. Now fortune smiles upon the need. His bags of gold gleam in the sun. The outer stream of his balance sheet, and every bear is left with none. Since the bull began his run.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome week so far. You must be having a great week. Are you kidding me? Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, absolutely skyrocketing. Ethereum up over 7%. Lots of excitement for ETH 2.0. So we are going to talk about all this today. What is going on? Should you be worried that the fear and greed index is at 90, or is this just the beginning? Well, as Bitcoin starts to approach some historical levels, we continue to push higher and higher, up 13% alone since just this whole election debacle has begun. So we need to talk about what could potentially be happening for the Bitcoin price. Are we actually going to see new all-time highs this year? Could we even see them this month? It's possible at the rate that this guy is moving. So I want to talk about that, and I also want to discuss why is Bitcoin pumping? What is happening right now? You can see we actually got up to $16,000, had a slight retracement. So who is driving this? Why is the price pumping? Well, you'll be quite surprised to find out that it is not retail driven. In fact, this is mostly the institutions. We haven't even touched the surface of the retail FOMO that we are about to see. And I'm going to show you evidence as to why that hasn't even happened yet. I know you're thinking this has to be the top. This has to be it. Well, there is so much more to come. Not to say that we couldn't have some pullbacks along the way, but I do want to talk about why we are destined for a major Bitcoin rally leading the end of this year into next year, and why we could see that $100,000, $200,000, even $300,000 Bitcoin by this time next year. I know that sounds insane, but that's what we're going to talk about today. If that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you are not subscribed, definitely consider it. And if you want to win a Ledger Nano S, drop a comment below in the description. And also, my friends, I screwed up on the Bybit promotion. Actually, I said you could get up to $540, but you can actually get up to $610 if you are new and you're using the rewards hub. So if you don't know what that's all about, check that out in the description, in the links below. I also do have a tutorial popping up above, but let's talk about Bitcoin, because there's not really too much to chart. Now, I want to show you something interesting. This is the entire history of the CME futures Bitcoin. This is all of, because don't forget, CME only started right here during the week of December 18th, which was literally the day after the all-time high. And a lot of people say that the reason that Bitcoin crashed was because the institutions had the opportunity to start shorting. Maybe, could be a possibility. However, look at the fact that we are now sitting at the most historical level for Bitcoin on the futures chart right now. You could see this was where we had the dump and we came back up and we had some resistance, and then it was a massive dump all the way down to the bottom. And where we are right now is currently hitting that exact same level. So this is territory that we have not been in since pretty much futures got launched back during the all-time high. And if we break through this level around the $16,355 level, this could literally send an absolute institutional frenzy into Bitcoin buying. And you can see right here, there is really not much more levels to go above after that point. Now, obviously, we could potentially have that pullback. I spoke about the bearish side of it. I'm not going to go back into it. I do believe at some point Bitcoin's going to have a massive pullback. When? Well, I don't know, because we just keep pushing higher and higher, to be totally honest. We do have this historic trend down here. If we did come down to this level, you could see us, if we fell instantly, you're still talking about $11,466. Now, that would be a pretty big fall from these prices, but it would still be bullish in the sense that we are maintaining the upwards trajectory, right? Now, on the short term, if we were to have a slight pullback, I think we would touch around the $15,200, $300 level, which I actually think we may have already had that this morning. But if we were to fall even lower, we could flip the previous resistance to support, and that is sitting at around 13,300. So that could be your short-term target. Like I said, you can make money by longing or shorting Bitcoin if you are using things like Bybit or Femex or Prime XBT or anything like that. I personally don't like longing and shorting altcoins. They're way too volatile for me. Bitcoin, I think, is a much better option. Definitely not recommended for beginners, but like I said, guys, there is a $610 promotion that they are doing if you want to check that out below. But, it is a little bit scary. Worrying about this fear and greed index, we're at 90. We're in extreme greed, and we do know that historically when we get to these types of levels, it does tend to be a bit of an overbought situation. However, you cannot deny that we have seen a rally in Bitcoin, a rally in commodities, a rally in the stock market. However, having a look at this chart, guess who's actually leading the way? It's Bitcoin this time. Bitcoin is actually leading the way, and the other traditional assets are actually the ones that are following Bitcoin this time. And this could finally be that moment, that revolution, that sort of, changing of hands to the crypto space, to Bitcoin, right? Finally getting that recognition that Bitcoin deserves. And like Peter Brandt said, why is Bitcoin going up anyway, right? Well, as you can see, we do have stocks, precious metals, raw metals, Bitcoin especially. He says, what's the common theme? The demise and the devaluation of the US dollar. Now, obviously, there's a lot of, concern about what's going on right now. Currently, this is live. It could be different by the time you see. You see Biden is at 264 out of 270 to win the electoral. Trump is around 214. So regardless of who wins in the end, I'm sure stimulus is something that's going to come, right? So we had the greenback and the Chinese yuan falling dramatically when people heard about the possible Trump win early Wednesday, but now it looks like Biden could be winning, and they say this could be an even deadlier blow to the dollar while shoring up the yuan. Now keep in mind, and I'm not going to get political here because I'm really just here about Bitcoin. I think in the end, Bitcoin is the winner, right? But we have, the pandemic situation not improving in the UK. They're plunging into their second lockdown. So they're looking for hedges against the pound as well, potentially over in the UK. And like the CEO of Uphold said, he said the uncertainty created by the current political climate is just more fuel for Bitcoin's growth. With a clear winner yet to be determined for US president, the likelihood of a gridlocked Congress, and the probability of another stimulus package, now that both sides won't be worried about the other getting credit before an election, people will be further drawn to devaluation. Benefited havens like Bitcoin and gold, will be the ones that they'll flock to in order to preserve their value. He says we are going to keep seeing Bitcoin price highs. And if you want to see how high Bitcoin has actually grown, check this out. So these are top assets by market cap. Obviously, we have Apple leading the way over here at 2 trillion. We have Microsoft at 1.6 trillion. Scrolling down here, we actually have Bitcoin coming in at 21. Now look at some of the things that Bitcoin actually has a higher cap than. Higher than PayPal, Netflix, Bank of America, Coca-Cola, Nike, Pfizer even, the pharmaceutical company, Intel. So it's pretty incredible, McDonald's, to see Bitcoin this high up on the list. I mean, Bitcoin's coming for you, Apple. Bitcoin's coming for you, Microsoft. We are coming for you, Tesla, right? Now, here's an interesting thing. Let's talk about what's going on with Square and their Cash App. So, according to their recent report, Cash App's revenue generated in the form of Bitcoin alone skyrocketed over 1.63 billion. This is showing massive interest in Bitcoin purchasing. The steep uptick in Bitcoin's revenue is an increase of more than 1,100% compared to last year this time. The report also adds that on the back of the massive Bitcoin-derived revenue, Bitcoin has also overtaken all other revenue sources for Cash App. Bitcoin makes up about 80% of their total revenue. The report also noted that a factor contributing to the record-shattering Bitcoin-derived revenue was the app's recently released Auto Invest tool, which enables users to reoccurringly, on daily or monthly, whatever you set it to, be able to purchase Bitcoin, basically dollar cost average. And we do know that dollar cost averaging has been the best strategy. I mean, pretty much if you've been dollar cost averaging Bitcoin, even if you started from buying at the all-time high, you are up today. You are up today. So if every week since Bitcoin hit its all-time high, you just put in $50 or $100, and you've been doing this for 3 years, you are up significantly. And that is the power of Bitcoin. And here's an interesting thing too, showing you how many people have been accumulating Bitcoin. Look at this Bitcoin rich list. This is over at BitInfo charts. If we come down here, it says addresses richer than, so over 10 million, there's 3,000 addresses, 1,023. But look at this. $10,000 just hit over 1 million addresses. So maybe they're not individual users. It could just, it could be a Ledger Nano. One person could own several addresses. But the point is, we have hit a milestone of 1 million addresses that have at least 10,000 Bitcoin. And that says a lot. I think that speaks volumes. Now, although we have seen an uptick in the Bitcoin Google trends over here in the past week, Bitcoin has hit a peak for 7 days. If we actually zoom out, it is still lower than levels that we saw back in May, levels that we saw back in March. And obviously, if you go to past 12 months, okay, you'll see that it's still only really halfway to the high. And obviously, if we go to the all-time past 5 years, we're still not even close to the peak that we had in the craze of 2017. And this just goes to show that there are not a lot of people paying attention still to Bitcoin. Everyone's focused on the elections. Everyone's focused on the pandemic. Everyone's focused on, the things that have been happening all year, the riots, the unemployment. No one's paying attention to Bitcoin. And meanwhile, Bitcoin is the best performing asset. Wait until the news starts telling everyone that Bitcoin just broke its all-time high. And then the retail FOMO actually kicks back in again. You think it's crazy what we're doing right now? Just wait until that day comes, my friends. And also for, my altcoin friends out there, Ethereum 2.0, it looks like it's finally happening. And we have Vitalik. He had his VB2 address. He sent 100 transactions for 32 Ether each, totaling around 3,200, worth about 1.4 million. All public. That's the beauty of blockchain. So he's getting ready. The transactions were sent to Ethereum 2.0's newly launched deposit contract, which went live Wednesday as a means for network participants to move funds from the current proof of work blockchain to the soon to launch proof of stake blockchain. And obviously, as we can see right here, Ethereum doing quite well, actually outperforming Bitcoin. Bitcoin was leading the way. Ethereum, now it's kind of leading the way today. And of course, our good old buddy USDT is falling because everybody's buying cryptos right now. Now is the time. Now, is it alt season? When Bitcoin goes up, the altcoins will go up. But this is not alt season. What we saw in DeFi, the DeFi boom, that was a taste of alt season. Alt season will most likely come after Bitcoin hits its all-time high. And that being said, speaking of altcoins and DeFi, you guys know I am a huge fan of NFTs. I think NFTs are massive. I think they're going to be widely accepted and used everywhere, to be honest with you. At some point, I think they're going to become the standard. And Terra Virtua, they're actually building an insane ecosystem right now. They have massive partnerships. They actually just raised a $2.5 million funding round with some big names that we're aware of. You can see right here, hashed NGC Ventures as well. And, they basically say that their goal is to make the term digital collectibles synonymous with Terra Virtua. Whether you're a collector of art, a fan of sports, sports, an influencer, a movie lover, Terra Virtua will be the place for you to engage with brands you love. And actually scrolling down here, look at this right here. They say a key part to our strategy is working with great brands all over the world. We've already signed with a number of legendary, exciting brands. Now look down here. Look at this. They have Paramount, Top Gun, World War Z, Pacific Rim, Oculus, The Godfather, Lost in Space, Legendary, of course, Matic, okay, Matic Network. So these guys are going to be big, Terra Virtua. I would definitely keep your eyes on them. We've seen how these other guys have done. You know, you've seen, you had Engine and Wax, and then recently we've seen the Sandbox has been pretty huge, right? Rarible, you've seen a lot of things over there. And now Terra Virtua, I do believe these guys are going to be massive. So definitely keep your eyes on them. But that is it for me today, guys. Bitcoin is hanging around these levels. Could we be looking for the pullback? Is it time? Are we overexhausted? Is the fear and greed just getting a little bit out of hand? Possibly. Could be possible, guys. I'd be prepared for that. But at the end of the day, all signs point towards higher prices at the end of this year, moving into next year. And obviously, as things continue, as I said, no matter who actually wins at the end of the day, more stimulus incoming, more devaluation of fiat currencies, which means more institutions and retail will be looking for the hedge, most likely in the form of things like stocks, gold, and of course, Bitcoin. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos in the first place. I love you. You're awesome. Enjoy your weekend. If Bitcoin gets a little bit crazy, it's okay. That's how it goes, guys. But at the end of the day, we know where our destination is, straight to the moon. That being said, my name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.